What's up everyone, Phil Sinovitz here with iOSblog.com, here to talk to you guys about the state of untethered jailbreak for iOS 6, and this includes iOS 6.0.1 and iOS 6.1 beta. So 6.0.1 and iOS 6 are the next firmwares to be jailbroken, so even if you're using an iPhone 5, an iPad mini, an iPad 4th generation, or even an iPad 3rd generation, then you will be seeing a jailbreak very soon. Not so soon, not as soon as previous jailbreaks, since Apple decided to up security on iOS 6, and this is making it harder for the iPhone dev team to crack the code and execute Cydia code. So let's go ahead and talk about it a little. Now we saw that CHPwn was able to get Cydia running on the iPhone 5 on day 1. This is really fast. I don't think we've ever seen a jailbreak on day 1, which is pretty crazy, but this wasn't a public jailbreak. It was just something to show that it can be done. Now there's still a lot of work to be done with the iOS 6 untethered jailbreak, but we also saw that Muscle Nerd posted a picture on Twitter for the root hashtag of the iPad mini. This means that he was able to get the iPad mini to also execute Cydia code, which is non-authorized Apple code, so it means that it wasn't in the App Store or anything that Apple approved. Now we also saw that CHPwn was able to jailbreak the iPad 4th generation a few days after release. I'm guessing the lag on the time, I'm guessing he was able to jailbreak it on day 1, except he wasn't really working on it that much because the iPad 4th generation is not that big of a release. Sure, you have the FaceTime HD camera on the front, and you also have the A6X processor, and you have the lightning cable at the bottom, but that just isn't enough to be a solid jailbreak and really not worth the time for the jailbreak dev team to be working on right now when there's bigger devices like the iPhone 5 and the iPod Touch 5th generation. I'm not saying that the iPad 4th generation isn't being worked on, I'm just saying that it's not their biggest priority. Now back in September of 2012, Pod2G was able to speak at the Worldwide Jailbreaking Convention in South San Francisco, which iOSblog attended. Yes, we have some of the only footage on YouTube of the Jailbreak Con convention. We have a playlist of it actually on our channel, and Pod2G spoke about having partial injection data for the iOS 6 jailbreak, but unfortunately Apple has since patched the plist file to that injection data and it's no longer really useful, only partially. Get it? Partially. Now fast forward a little bit to October, where Planet Being released a public jailbreak, or failbreak as he calls it, with a kernel exploit. This is nothing that anybody in the public or someone who is not an advanced user or developer can use, but this is something to get it out into the world, and hopefully more people will start working on the iOS 6 untethered jailbreak. Now later on in November, we saw that former iPhone dev team member Paw6 Ninja tweeted out that he was working on bigger things. When someone tweeted back and asked him what could be bigger than the iPod Touch 5th generation and the iPhone 5 jailbreak, he replied a boot ROM exploit for the A5, A5X, A6X, and the A6 processor. I know I did them kind of out of order right there. That's not cool. Now what a boot ROM jailbreak means is that the jailbreak would last forever, meaning that Apple would in no way be able to block it since it happens in the boot ROM of the device. So this would mean that even if you updated, you would still be able to jailbreak your iPhone 5, your iPod Touch 5th generation, your iPad mini, your iPad 4th generation, or your iPad 3rd generation. All of those devices are included with the A5, A5X, A6, A6X processors. That time I did them in order. Now let's get back to CHPwn's failbreak. In mid-November, he released a photo on Twitter showing that the iPhone 5 was able to get jailbreak tweaks running on it. He did this via Notification Center, showing some widgets on the iPhone 5, and he also mentioned that the jailbreak is currently not releasable and it's not stable. Though he did go on to mention and say that he would love to release it as soon as possible. Now at the end of November, actually a few weeks ago, there was a meeting at the Hack in the Box security conference with Pod2G, Muscle Nerd, Planet Being, and a security expert named Mark Dowd. Now Mark Dowd mentioned that the iOS 6 firmware has upped its security. Apple has upped all of the security in the iOS 6 firmware, making it really difficult to jailbreak. However, Planet Being went on to mention that the iPhone dev team still has a few tricks up their sleeves. Yes, go dev team. And then later on in the conference, Pod2G mentioned that he was working on a userland exploit allowing iOS to run jailbreak code, meaning Cydia. Finally, it's still unsure when the untethered jailbreak jailbreak for iOS 6, iOS 6.0.1, or iOS 6.1 will be released. Now, iOS 5 took a while to jailbreak as well, and we saw it about 2 or 3 months after the release of iOS 5, so hopefully we'll see the iOS 6 untethered jailbreak soon. Of course, we'll give you guys all the latest news on the iOS 6 untethered jailbreak. Just be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, subscribe to YouTube, be sure to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, whichever social network you prefer to get the latest in iOS jailbreaking news. We'll keep you guys updated. Be sure to give a thumbs up for the video, subscribe down below, and also please be sure to leave a comment down below telling us when you think the untethered iOS 6 jailbreak will be released. Let us know in the comment section below. Be sure to check us out on Twitter, Google+, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you all for watching and being awesome viewers and subscribing to iOS Vlog, and I will see you all in the next one.